Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Detroit Sports Sit Down. My name is Tom Murphy Jr. I got Dan Murphy and Joe Perry here with me, and we are going to talk some Super Bowl. What a yawner that was, man. So anticlimactic. I'm disappointed, man. I'm disappointed, man. I don't know about you guys. I was so looking forward to this game. I thought it was going to be epic. I thought it was going to go right down to the wire. That was not the case, man. Tampa Bay came out and just beat the crap out of Kansas City. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. Like, I really thought Kansas City would overcome the offensive line situation. They did not. That was clearly the major impact right there. Guys, Dan, I'll start with you. Is that has to be the thing, right? Like, Pat Mahomes was running for his life the whole time, and it made for a very boring Super Bowl. And
it's boring, and it's incredibly surprising. Whoever had Tampa Bay and the under, like, good for you.
Yeah.
Did you have the under, Joe?
I didn't take the under or whatever, but I took Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you definitely.
And the reason I said Tampa was because of the offensive line, that Mahomes wasn't going to have any time, and that's exactly what you saw. He didn't have any time. I thought Mahomes, I didn't think he was as injured as he was during that game. He looked like he couldn't move as quick as he normally does.
I don't know about that. I
don't know. He looked a little more injured, and you heard today he's having surgery.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He didn't look as quick as...
No. I mean, he didn't have time either. It was kind of both. He wasn't moving as quick as he normally would, and he didn't have time. So, obviously, that's what everyone saw, and that's what happened, and they just completely destroyed him. No one expected that. I didn't expect them to blow him out either. I did say it was 31-28. I thought the Chiefs would score some touchdowns. They never kick field goals. You know, they're always in the end zone.
No touchdowns for the Chiefs.
That's
the
most amazing thing about the whole game.
My biggest takeaway is the fact that they were able to get so much pressure with just their front four.
Yeah.
They didn't do a lot of blitzing. Mm-hmm. They did a lot of twists and stunts with their front four, and they were able to get through. Now, the problem with that is, like, what Tampa Bay was playing was man under with two deep safeties, which is incredibly difficult to pass against. It is. You have to be able to run the ball. And if you can't run the ball against that, you're not going to have success. And if your line can't block, you have to have time against that type of defense. And if you don't have time, you're going to get killed. That's what happened. Mahomes was running for his life. But they had opportunities to run the ball. If you're playing with two deep safeties the majority of the game, you're going to give up some runs. And Hilaire had a good game. He was averaging 7 yards a carry, but they just got away from it. Yeah, Tampa Bay got the lead, but it doesn't mean you have to completely give up on the run, especially when you're having success with it and they're playing two deep safeties. And I think that's a big criticism they can put on Andy Reid and the Chiefs' offense is that they got away from the run when they didn't need to.
Yeah. Now, okay, we're all of us are definitely not blame the ref guys. You make plays, you have to kind of see, like, how the refs are going to call the game, you know, early on, and you have to adjust to that. With that said, though, there were some rough penalties in that first half that it got really frustrating, to be honest, because as much as Kansas City was struggling, and as good as Tampa Bay's offense looked, they got really helped out by some questionable calls in that first half. Did you guys think so too? Like, and I'm not saying the refs stole the game or nothing, but or gave the game away to Tampa Bay. But there were some calls that were very, very ticky-tacky for sure, and they kept going against Kansas City. There didn't seem to be a balance, and it's
in key times too.
Yeah,
opportunities to get off the field.
Interception got taken away. A couple pass interference calls that were, shaky at best. A defensive holding that was something.
What do you think about the trip at the end?
See, we were the play at towards the end of the first half.
The end of the game. The trip, wasn't it at the end of the game, or was that? No, that was
the end of the first half.
That was at the end of the first half.
Which essentially was pretty much the end of the game.
Yeah.
But at the end of that first half.
It was almost the same type of play.
It
was almost the same type of play that the Bucs pulled off against Green Bay. And see, I thought the cornerback, he tripped and kind of lost his footing, and I don't
regardless.
know
So he fell and he hit the heels of the receiver and caused the receiver to fall down.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was on purpose, but it doesn't matter if it's on purpose or not. He fell into the heels of the receiver as he's running and caused the receiver to fall down.
Was the ball catchable even too?
That's for debate. I mean, that's for debate, but I forget who was doing the.
It was Evans, I think.
It was Evans, but there was somebody CBS had in the booth that they have come in when there's a challenge. I forget who it was that they had in there.
Was it Pereira? Or?
I don't think it was Pereira. I forget who it was. But anyways, he was saying like you don't know. It's almost impossible to know whether Evans could have leaped for that ball and made a play.
Yeah, because how high they could jump and
before he can leap and just all that stuff. It's hard to
you got to call that.
So I thought that was a good call. I did not have a problem with that. But again, it's like I have a more problem with the Chiefs defense allowing that to happen.
See, we didn't even get a really good replay of that. But Dan, I know we watched the game together, and I thought there was a safety over top.
Even if the safety is over the top, he wasn't going to get there. He wasn't going to get there.
They kind of got burned, but I don't think it wasn't as.
It wasn't as bad as Green Bay. It wasn't. It wasn't. But this is the Super Bowl, and that exact same situation happened against Green Bay. They're going to be aggressive in this situation. So you got to be prepared for it. The safety's got to be prepared for it. The corner's got to be prepared for it. Maybe the corner's got to play a little bit more off than he was. So he's not beat over the top, and he can close the distance so the safety can get over the top. Mm-hmm. Like, that can't happen. You can't allow yourself to be in a situation where you could get a pass interference penalty like that. Because even if Mike Evans doesn't trip, like, there's a good opportunity. Like, maybe if the pass is a little bit better. But Mike Evans was there. Like, that's an opportunity for a touchdown. That can't happen at the end of the half like that. Mm-hmm. And another question, that same drive, I want to bring up with you guys, because, Tom, you and I kind of talked about this. I didn't think we agreed at the time. But Andy Reid used timeouts, right? At the beginning of that drive, I think there was a minute left, right? Tampa only had one timeout. I want to say they were about their own 30, 35 roughly, okay? So after first down, they called a timeout. And then it got to, I think it was 3rd and 2, and Kansas City used another timeout to try to get the ball back. In that situation, 3rd and 2, right? If you're Kansas City, Tampa Bay's only got one timeout. Do you call a timeout in that situation?
That's tough. That's tough.
I liked the aggressiveness of it from Kansas City's standpoint. You just had to. At some point, you got to believe that your defense can make that stop, and you can get the ball back and go get some very important points at that point in the game. I didn't have a problem with that. Obviously, it came back to bite them. It's a gambling, man. They rolled the dice on that specific situation, and it didn't work out for them. But I don't have a problem with it. I think Andy Reid would do the same thing again.
I don't love it, but. Like Tampa, they knew Tampa was going to be aggressive, so you got to be aggressive too if you want to win. So I don't love it, but when you're playing Tampa and it's a Super Bowl, I think it's something.
And it's still the first half, and you had to believe,
especially being down,
with how great that offense is. Given the offensive line problems, still there's so much talent on that field. The Kansas City's offense is. So just run and gun, man. Like, they can score quickly and so aggressively that you have to believe in what got you there in the first place.
I give it to Andy Reid. He bets on his guys. Mm. He's willing to bet on his guys that his guys are going to go out there and make a play. And I think that, obviously it didn't work out in this situation, but just in general, your players are going to run through a brick wall for you if you do that. If the players know that, like, hey, their coach believes in them, he's going to bet on them to make a play in big situations, and that helps your team. And obviously it didn't work out in this situation, but I respect the hell out of Andy Reid for making decisions like that. I always want to be aggressive. Be aggressive and bet on that your players are going to make the play in the big situations. Didn't have it work this time. But it's happened on many other occasions where it's worked in their favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like earlier in the season when they went, or earlier in the playoffs.
Against the Browns, with a backup quarterback going empty on 4th and 1. Mm-hmm. But, like, even in that situation, you got to tip your cap to Tampa Bay. Like, it was 3rd and 2. It's a big play. I remember saying at the time, like, this is a huge play in this game. Like, Kansas City used the timeout. Like, they're gambling here. Like, this is huge. And Gronk caught a pass and just muscled his way to get the first down. And that was huge. It was a huge first down and a huge play in that game. Because obviously he ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive.
I'm glad you brought up Gronk because we got to talk about the ultimate 2015 fantasy team that just won the Super Bowl, man, with Brady, Gronk, and Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette. These guys, man. How about Gronk, man? It's like coming from out of nowhere. Retirement. Like he's like, I'll go ahead and play, and he's like skipping out on his wind sprints. Like
that's
with that little story that I think we talked about that last year. It was so funny.
Yeah.
But think about that. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna party for a year and just kind of pretend to be in shape, and I'm just gonna come back and score 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, man.
It just shows how Brady just brings these people together. That's what it is. It's Brady, and people flock to him because they know he's a proven winner, and all these players did, and they all played their key parts.
Yeah.
So you got a Super Bowl.
Well, you look at it, and this is something I wanted to talk about, and Tom, we talked about it during the game. It's like Antonio Brown, touchdown. Gronk, 2 touchdowns. Fournette, a touchdown. That's your 4 touchdowns in the game, right? Those are 3 guys that were out there as free agents.
Yeah.
And Gronk was retired. Fournette got cut by Jacksonville. Antonio Brown was practically exiled from the league.
Yeah.
And they're all out there. I mean, anybody can make a call to these guys. But Brady goes to Tampa Bay. Brady makes the phone calls. Mm-hmm. He brings these guys to Tampa Bay. Lo and behold, those guys are the scored all the touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So all right, everybody loves Gronk. I don't think Gronk. He seems like a good dude. He's a party guy. Like you would love to have him at your backyard barbecue.
Oh yeah.
Leonard Fournette. I've always been a fan of Fournette. I think it's still criminal to me that he didn't get to start being a running back in the NFL until he should have never had to go back for a second year in college, but that's an argument for another day. But the one guy, Antonio Brown, do you feel good for the guy? Do you care? Are you mad that he got another opportunity and he gets a Super Bowl ring? Is this something that you can root for? If you're a Tampa Bay fan, you love it. But if you're just a fan of the NFL, are you happy for this guy?
Not for him. I'm not happy for him. He's going to have a court case soon coming up. They got it held back till after the season, but he might be suspended next year in the NFL. He might not be able to play, probably not, the whole season, but he is a jerk. He got what he deserves, and other than winning the Super Bowl.
Winning the Super Bowl and scoring a touchdown, yeah.
But, before that, he was almost out of the league. Nobody did want him. And it does take someone like Brady to have a player make a comeback like that. But I just think he's just not a good dude, and that's why I don't really care.
And
overall.
Because you heard the story, Brady, he brought him into New England last season. It didn't work out that great or whatever, But then this year, comes to Tampa Bay, and he brought him in, he brought him into his home and all that. What does that say about Brady? Is there a character issue with Brady because he brought in a guy that's not a great guy, and only because he knew that he'd be a good weapon for him, or
no?
Is there an issue there?
Brady's a great.
Do we think about would Brady just bring in? What if Brady brought in somebody else that was a worse person that, just something even more egregious, than
Hernandez.
That's the most.
He's still alive.
Yeah,
that's pretty extreme,
I know that's a little, but something like that. Yeah. What if Brady okay, this guy this thing happened, but he deserves another chance. Should Brady have been you know what, this guy's unpopular?
I think Brady's trying to help him to get his image back too, and help Antonio Brown. They must be friends outside of football. That's kind of how I feel about it. Like I said, I just don't like him because I don't think he's a good dude. To me, it's one thing. I might root for him. Let's say if I did whatever team, I might root for him on the field, but I don't root for him off the field. That's just
because I know we had talks before, because when Antonio Brown was going through all this stuff, and there was talk. We were talking about would we want Antonio Brown on the Lions, and. I don't even remember what we even thought about it. I think we were all kind of well, like you kind of want that talent on the field, and the NFL is full of bad dudes, like guys that aren't, you don't want to bring to church with you, like the NFL's full of people like that. But if you can help the team win games, and in this case help win a Super Bowl, you kind of you overlook a lot of things.
I think that just shows what Brady's about. He'll do whatever it takes to win. The phrase Patriot way was always going around, especially when the Lions got Patricia in that. But really what the Patriot way is, do whatever it takes to win. They bend the rules as far as you possibly can without breaking them. Even you got to break them a little bit. Maybe even do that. You do whatever it takes to win. So he had to bring in Antonio Brown and bring him into his house. Guess what? Look how it ended up. Scores a key touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Even though he ran the wrong route. Did you hear about that?
No.
That touchdown, he ran the wrong route. Yeah. But that just shows how
good
Brady is.
Who knows that? How do you...
I don't know. It came out after the Super Bowl. I heard it on Sports Talk today.
Who said it?
What's that?
Who said that? Who said that he ran the wrong route? Did he say it himself? He's like, man, I actually ran the wrong route? Or,
I'm not sure who said it out of their mouth, but yeah, that's what I heard today.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That he ran the wrong route on the route.
Still got a touchdown.
It still got a touchdown.
Either way, so that's just one little caveat of this whole thing, man. Let's talk some more about Brady himself. Tom Brady is the greatest, right? He's what is he the greatest? What the greatest champion in sports history? He's definitely not the greatest athlete of all time. I cannot stand when people say Tom Brady's the greatest athlete. Like, no, he's not. He's not.
He's definitely the greatest football player.
Is he even the greatest football player? Is he the greatest quarterback?
He's definitely the greatest quarterback. The greatest football player. I mean, you got the most Super Bowls.
Yeah.
How could you not be the greatest? Well,
champion? Is he a better?
Yes.
Is he a better champion than Jordan? Is he a better champion?
Well, I think
than
it's
Bill
Jordan
Russell?
won. Didn't Jordan win college too? Didn't he win the national championship? Jordan?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he had the game-winning shot.
Yeah. Back in '84, I believe. Yeah.
It was 85 against Georgetown.
So, and he's got what, 6, right? Jordan's
got 6
pro,
rings. Yeah. 6 rings in the pros, and then one in college.
It's pretty much those two, I would think.
How far back do you go?
I normally just go my lifetime because I don't really never watch those people. So it's hard for me to judge something I never seen.
Bill Russell has 11 rings. 11.
Yeah, I always forget about Russell.
He was like 7 foot tall, playing a bunch of small. He was like a foot taller than everybody. They just won all the time, and that's a long time. And then.
Even Gretzky. Gretzky was like someone before his time.
Gretzky's coming up too a lot in this.
It's because it was like him, against everybody else basically in the league when he was young.
Oh, he was so old.
Yeah, we talked about this last week, and I didn't bring up Gretzky, and I did see somebody else bring up Gretzky.
A lot of people bringing up Gretzky now.
Yeah, it might be Gretzky because. He was just so much better than everybody else. Like it's just unbelievable, and it's not like it was like it's not like Bill Russell where it was like kind of where before physically. Basketball kind of got modernized. Like hockey hasn't changed that much since the '80s. I mean, this was the '80s when he was dominating. Yeah. So,
and think about it. The thing that hockey has changed is it's not as
physical
and violent. So this guy was a speedster, finesse, player back when you just got murdered every night.
When you had goons on your team that were just paid to fight.
Yeah. He had guys to protect you, but
it was a lot more high scoring back then too.
The wild thing, like this stat blows my mind. If you take, all right, so Gretzky's like the leading point scorer in the history of hockey, and if you take all his goals away and just leave the assists, he's still the leading.
I didn't know that.
All time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how dominant he was, man.
That's crazy.
But that's still, you gotta have, there's no time like the present when you talk about these type of things. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like Brady's got to be, and this is football, man. It's the NFL where like
salary caps
and things change so quickly, and the rules are always changing, and you see like even the way the quarterback position is getting changed. granted, they're protected more than, like, say, a Joe Montana, who just get his, head knocked off repeatedly,
Yeah. The thing about Brady, too, is he even took kind of over the team after their bye. It was late in the year, and that's kind of why I thought they were going to win, because ever since their bye, they've played, like, phenomenal, if I can say that. They just have played really good, and he kind of took over the offense a little bit because he had, like, his highest interception rate because he was throwing downfield, all season. So for him to kind of tell the coach, hey, we should do it this way, that even shows to me how much even a good player you are, that you have to tell the coach how to play. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a game like football where it's there's a lot of coaching involved.
So, I mean, I guess that he has to be, like, it's just we are lucky. Are we lucky? Like, to be able to be in a time where we get to witness this type of greatness, or is it just annoying at this point? If you're not,
it's always going to
Brady
happen.
fan.
You're always going to have your stars, no matter what time of when it is. So 30 years down the road, it's going to be John Smith and John Bob Cooter, and it's like, hey, are they better than Gretzky and Brady?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I've never seen Gretzky and Brady play, so it's these guys. So it's just going to evolve.
Yeah.
And then just more and more names will be brought up, and it is too hard to say who the greatest really is, especially when you cross sports and decades.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to see somebody win 7.
Yeah.
To win 7 Super Bowls. It's so hard. They just get to one.
Does Brady ride off into the sunset now, or does he come back and try to do it
Yeah, they all said they're coming back.
Yeah, why not? I guess. I
think I
ride until the wheels fall off.
I saw
right?
Mike Evans say he's willing to, work his contract so that they can afford everybody.
Yeah, pay me $1 million.
Yeah, because Godwin's a free agent.
Yeah.
And the D lineman Barrett.
Yeah.
Sue's a free agent.
What do you do if you're those guys too? I mean, especially if you're Godwin.
You did take a discount for at least 1 year. You play one more year with Brady. Take a discount. Sign 1 year contract. Whatever.
But if you're Godwin, man, because you got to think, you got your ring now. This is this is your prime.
This
is your moment to go get your money. What if he takes the 1 year contract? What if he blows his knee?
Yeah.
What if?
What if he wins the Super Bowl again? Then
he
won
the Super Bowl once, though. Like you climb the mountain. If you're Godwin, like if I'm Godwin, it's money bag time. Man.
So you want to go to the Jets?
Go to the Lions?
Whoever's putting that bag out, whoever's putting the biggest bag out there, that's where I'm going. Because you have your ring now. I know you play to win the game.
Do that.
You play to win the championship, but you got the ring. You got the ring. Now it's time to get paid.
That's what Bell did. Do you see what Bell is? Bell's probably going to be out of the league now. You can't.
Well, you can't. Bell's
do that,
a little different. I'm not saying Godwin hold out.
I mean, Godwin's a lot younger than Bell, obviously. But
so if you're Chris Godwin, you would go to the Lions for a 5-year contract over signing a 1-year deal with the Bucs, playing with Tom Brady and defending the championship.
1 year. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. I think I would. I think I would if I'm. If I'm Sue. If I'm Ndamukong Suh, I would re-sign at the league minimum, to help the team because he's already
made his money.
He made his money. He's paid, and he got his ring. Come back and get a second one. Why not? But Godwin, I'm telling you,
I hate when players just take the money and go to the worst team. I just think it's so pathetic.
Well,
don't you want to win?
He could do both. He might be able to do both, though.
Not at the Jets.
No, I'm not saying the Jets. I'm saying another team that has money.
We're going to talk about Galladay here.
I'm like saying Dallas,
they don't need
or how about Green Bay? Green Bay, figure it out.
Yeah.
Free up some money and go
to Green Bay.
Green Bay. Yeah,
like you said, you could get your money and be on a winner still, or like I said, Galladay. There's all there's rumors that he might go to Baltimore. If I'm Godwin, I might be like, hey man, you don't need Galladay. Come get me. Come pay me. I'll go play with Baltimore and I'll get paid and still be in contention. And play with a great quarterback. On a great team that has a lot of chance to win. That needs me. They need a superstar receiver. Like that. So he could get the best of both worlds. I don't think he does the 1 year deal. I wouldn't in his specific situation.
No.
That's how I feel, man. Because that's what we always say this, man. NFL, not for long, man.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know, when you have the opportunity to go, you just won the ring, you just won the championship. Go get your money, man. Because you only have so many contracts in the NFL. You only have so many shots at free agency.
You only have so many shots at a Super Bowl too.
But he's already got one.
Yeah, but that's one. You have 10 fingers.
I want millions of dollars in my bank account, man. If you got the ring, go get the money now, man. That's where I'm at. And I am only in his specific situation, you know. Because it's about winning the games. It's about winning, and it also it's about being comfortable, man. Like living in Tampa Bay, making millions of dollars, playing on a great team. It is a pretty nice situation, you know.
I mean, especially you don't do anything and you still win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so. What do you mean?
Because he had a bad game. He was, he had a bad game.
Hey, come on.
So I'm just saying.
No, it was a huge reason how they got there.
Yeah, I know. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to be on a team where you have a good team where if you do get taken out of the game, then you can still win. If you go to the Jets, it's gonna suck. I agree with going to more of a team that has a chance to win than to just to get the money.
Yeah.
Like Dan said, Green Bay, or I don't know, even Arizona or something like that, where a team a young team where you might be able to win in 2-3 years or something. But to go to one of the worst teams that's going to rebuild just to get the money, that's just not what I.
Okay, yeah, I mean, obviously I see what you're saying, you know, but since we're talking money and we're talking these receivers, let's talk about Galladay. We're going to talk about two very important Hall of Fame inductees pretty soon here, but let's talk about Galladay right now because Galladay it's his time to get his money too right now.
He's gone.
I agree.
And does it bother you guys? Do we as Lions fans? I'm trying to do better as we need to re-sign him. You know,
how much it bugs me.
I know. I'm trying to do. Terry Foster actually wrote a nice little blog about you are not part of the team. You know? And he's right.
I've gotten off that thing of bashing anybody that does
it's
it.
If you're gonna say it, you're gonna say it.
It just I try not to do it because it just
40. I got 40 years invested in this team. I feel like I'm part of it, man.
But they don't give a damn about what you have to say. You're not going to impact any of the decisions.
Yeah,
just the way it is.
But that's what it is. So we as Lions fans, Lions Nation. Just Lions Nation.
The number one that bugs me.
Do we want Galladay back, and at what cost? Because I don't know. Is it facts? Is it rumored that he turned down $16 million a year at the beginning of this year for an extension, and he said no, and then he wanted to ride out this season and go into free agency, and then he had this injury that just kept lingering and not playing, and it got really frustrating. You never want to disrespect a professional athlete.
A day-to-day injury that became month-to-month.
Yeah. But you don't know what that is. You're not their doctor.
No, of course not.
You don't know what they're going through. And to get this far as a professional football player, you're already a warrior. You know, you're not. You've played through all kinds of stuff in high school, college, and then.
But it makes you wonder.
It does make you wonder, and it makes you wonder. Do the Lions make this investment, and how much does he even want? Do you want to pay overpay for a guy that really doesn't even want to be here anyway?
I don't think so.
I agree with Dan. I don't think he's going to stay.
Now with whether if Stafford was still here,
possibly.
That changes everything. Yeah. But the fact that they trade Stafford, that's it. You know, I feel the same way when the Tigers traded Verlander. It's okay, all right, that's it. All right, this franchise is in complete rebuild mode. Mm-hmm. So that's the mindset you get into as a fan, and that's the mindset you got to get in as front office. Yeah. And you don't bring Galladay back now because his prime years are going to be the next 2 to 3 years, and that's
especially
the rebuilding years.
$20 million a year or whatever he wants. It's going to be up $16-20 million, and it's just you don't need to spend that money right now on a wide receiver, especially when. Like you said, you lose Stafford, but I definitely agree with that. He's gone.
Another Lions wide receiver that is pretty important. I guess, to the team, Marvin Jones, we're hearing rumors that he wants to follow Stafford to the Rams. If Galladay goes and Jones goes,
Who we can have?
I know we're just going to catch the ball. Should we fight for one of these guys? I know we're already saying. I think we're all in agreement that Galladay can go get his money elsewhere.
We'll probably sign Robinson. I feel like he's one that's going to chase
Allen
money.
Robinson from the Bears.
I feel like he's one that's going to chase money.
Yeah,
I feel like you're going to have to overspend for any of these guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Come here. I mean,
in a rebuild, is it worth it? Like, so,
No,
like,
no, it's not.
Let Jones walk, let Galladay walk, and not sign a big receiver to a big contract. Somebody's going to have to come out here and catch the ball, though.
yeah, no kidding.
So what do you do in this case? What do we do? If I was the GM,
It's hard. It's hard.
You were
to
running
tell.
the show.
It's hard to say right now because it's so early, and I haven't gone through all the free agents and stuff. We know who the big free agents are, obviously, but you're just going to have to sign a couple, guys, basically, to catch the ball and maybe hope to draft someone late or something and hopefully hit on one. But
yeah.
I agree. I think he's gone too. So who is going to catch the ball?
Hawkinson.
Yeah, he's going to have a
lot of bootleg passes to the tight end.
He's going to have a great season this year.
Yeah, and
But-
I like Cephas. I think he was a nice draft pick. He kind of came along late last season, and I think he's got
potential
some
for
potential.
sure.
Yeah, is he going to be a
I'm
starter?
forgetting his name. The dude that went to
Wisconsin?
he ended up going to Philadelphia Eagles, and playing really well.
Fulgham?
Oh,
Fulham, yeah.
Travis?
He's Travis Fulham. Yeah,
Travis
he's the
Fulgham,
one. He's the one I really liked coming out of the draft, and they took him late. I thought he was somebody that could really turn out to be a decent player. And they ended up cutting him.
Yeah.
And then I think he bounced around the league a little bit, but then he fell in
went to
Philly, and then
Philly,
he
yeah.
had some pretty good games with Philly.
Yeah.
He would be a nice guy to still have around right now because
Yeah.
he could step in, and maybe not be a number one, but maybe step into the number two role and provide something for you. But it would be a young player that shows some promise. And it's like, God, man, why?
Yeah.
It's frustrating that they cut a guy like that because it was a guy that when they drafted him, I'm like, oh, he might turn into something.
There's Danny Amendola. Is there any reason to
gone.
re-sign him? Or
we don't want him. He's gone. He's old.
Yeah, he stepped up though this year. I mean, he would make some important plays.
He makes some dumb plays too, especially when you're a veteran. That were frustrating,
Yeah.
like getting some personal fouls and some situations. Like, dude, what the hell? Like, that's not what they got you for. Like, you're supposed to be the veteran of the team. So I don't know. I'm not a big Amendola fan.
Yeah, me either.
He can go too.
And I think that's what it is the wide receiver position is not a position of like need where it's not like an edge rusher, where there's only so many dominant edge rushers out there. Wide receivers, they're pretty much a dime a dozen. You can go get some good guys, and then and
You can get average. You can get average receivers.
average receivers for sure that can go out there and in the right situation, can really step up.
We got Sanu.
You see guys, yeah.
I forgot about Sanu.
Yeah, that was just a 1 year guy. Is he a free agent as well? Like, he probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
He's
that-
31. He's younger than I thought.
Yeah.
But it's going to be
So-
guys like it might be guys.
It's going to be guys like
at
that,
least for this
sure.
season.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, like I think we're seeing though, like this Lions team is shaping up. It's going to be I hate to say it with how the defense played last year, but it's like they want this ground and pound style offense, and with a dominant defense.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, eating up kneecaps and all that.
But I mean, you look at it though. He's trading staff. Galladay probably being gone. Marvin Jones probably being gone. We're in for a couple of years where it's just they're gonna get. It's not. You can't build this team in a year. You can't build this team in one off season.
You might have to sign a star or two. That's why I was saying of Robinson, just to spend your salary cap. That's why I said he might be someone who chases money that comes to like the Lions because they have to spend some money on somebody. I mean, with losing both those wide receivers, it's like,
See,
I
now
mean, you could go and get two guys on the lower end.
Yeah.
Maybe like the 9th and 10th top receiver in free agency. So you get both of those as opposed to getting
That's what I prefer,
one of the
though.
first or second guys. That's probably what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think like Now, Allen Robinson, I think, is the opposite.
I don't like him either. I just feel that's a
no.
Lions move. I hate Allen Robinson, but I feel like the Lions will sign him for a huge
think he's pretty good.
contract.
I
And
like
maybe
Robinson.
that's just me.
I mean, he's one of
thinking
the, I mean,
SOL.
He's
but
a top free agent. I just
Yeah.
don't see him coming here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe he will be a guy that
I don't
just
know
goes for
why.
the money,
I just
but
see that him coming here. I don't know why. But
I mean, there's a lot of rumors. Like the Lions, for some reason, you're hearing a lot of chatter that the Lions are going to, let Jones and Galladay walk and go throw money at Allen Robinson. I don't really understand that move.
I don't either. But I just feel that it's going to happen.
If you're Robinson, this is where it's different. Robinson should take this opportunity to go to a winning team and maybe take a little bit less money and go showcase his skills at a winning organization. Where don't just go to the Lions to chase the money bag. That's where it's different, man. But at the same time, he's a player where he's shown that he's a top free agent acquisition, and he's going to command some money.
this top 10 receiver.
So, and you got to think, again, you only get so many opportunities to get these big contracts. I don't know, man.
I don't know why it just stuck in my head.
I don't think the Lions should. I don't think
It's going to be
for a big receiver.
It's going to be interesting.
No, I don't think
though.
so
Like,
either.
In this year, it's different because we know they're going into more of a rebuild, right? Where every year they've had Stafford, it's always been like, eventually they got to break the door down, right?
Just get him more
Eventually
pieces. Just get him
they
more
got to get
pieces.
there. Eventually they're going to get there.
Yeah.
Like they got Stafford. Eventually they're going to win some playoff games. Eventually they're going to win a
Yeah.
division. They got Stafford as quarterback. He's the face of the franchise. He's a fringe top 10 quarterback. Like sometime they're going to get there. Like you got to build up. You got to get guys around him. You got to get guys around him. We went to every offseason, like for the past 10, 11 years, it seems like, thinking that way. Now it's like, okay, it's wide open. Like, they need everything. So you're looking at free agency, you're looking at the draft. It's like, it's just a different feel now. Because it's a rebuilding process. It's going to take 2 to 3 years, probably, most likely, unless they get real lucky and get some of these late round draft picks really turn out. But most likely, it's going to take 2 to 3 years. So it's just interesting going into this offseason as a Lions fan because it's a totally different feel, and it's like, okay, like even if they draft a lineman, you're not going to be upset. Oh, they needed a receiver or a running back to give them some weapons or whatever. You're just kind of looking at this as a total rebuild from the ground up. So it's like they could really almost draft any position.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, they needed that. So
best player available and actually help.
in every single spot. All right, well,
I don't like it. I just want to say before we move on, I don't think that should happen. I mean, I don't want that to happen, but I think it will.
you don't want it out there that Joe Perry wants Allen Robinson.
No, I
to
do
sign with the
not
Lions.
want Robinson.
And he can't wait to go out and get his Allen Robinson jersey.
I feel like that's a
he's
Lion
the guy who's
move.
going to bring us to the top. So all we needed was that one wide receiver, man. That's the one thing the Lions never had was that one receiver.
If they would have just spent some draft picks on some receivers, maybe things could have been different.
That's a great transition because speaking of that one wide receiver, Calvin Johnson, man. Congratulations, Calvin Johnson, Hall of Fame. We don't have too many Detroit Lions in the Hall of Fame, so we got to embrace the situation, right?
Well, didn't he say last week that he wasn't going to make the Hall of Fame?
I didn't say that.
I'm pretty sure he did.
We said Stafford wouldn't. I said with him he has NFL records, then he should. But I didn't think Stafford should be in the NFL in the Hall of Fame.
I thought you said Calvin wouldn't be either.
I wouldn't have never said that. That's egregious, man.
Or they shouldn't retire his number or something along those lines.
I think I was talking about Stafford. I remember, and I said that. I mean, I thought at first no, but then I looked at his records and I saw that he has a couple of NFL records. And if you have NFL records, then I think you should be.
I mean, I guess I was a little. Maybe we're a little salty still, because of the way things broke.
We'll have to listen back.
Yeah,
to
I'm
the
gonna have to listen back to the show because I know Joe and I both said that Stafford shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. At least that's now, based on the numbers now.
We were talking about whose numbers should get put in the rafters, and I think there was we're saying, look, Calvin is a surefire Hall of Famer. I never said that Calvin's not.
I might have said they
Famer.
might not be in. They shouldn't be in or his number retired maybe.
Now I think.
But now that he's in the Hall of Fame, I think it should be.
And I was still thinking where maybe we should retire Stafford too, like years down the line. And then we were thinking, well, could Calvin has been as great with the less capable quarterback? I know we had that argument, but I don't think there's any argument about the legacy that Calvin Johnson has. And the fact that he is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's a Lion. He didn't play with any other team, but it was rough. It's rough to think that how it ended for Calvin Johnson with no playoff wins.
Yeah, it's just
it
like
ended
Barry.
dirty.
Well, Barry at least had
and then
one.
Calvin didn't even want to be part of the Lions organization anymore. Doesn't even want to come back for
that'll
change
soon.
And there's progress to
Yeah.
that now. And with the not new ownership, but with Sheila kind of mending fences here with Calvin, you have to Calvin Johnson now, especially being a first ballot Hall of Famer. You got to put all the stuff at how things ended. It has to just be water under the bridge now, and Calvin has to embrace the Lions. And the Lions had to embrace Calvin, much like how Barry Sanders.
Didn't that happen to Barry? The same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now you see Barry's coming out for games. He's doing all these. He's even part of the front office kind of now, right? He's got like a role in the front office.
Like a consultant.
Consultant. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing because you need. It's nice to have those legacy type guys, especially with the Lions, because we don't have much, man. As far as like history, we got a couple of guys, You
got to look way back.
Yeah. So, you can't. I want Calvin Johnson to be embraced as a Lions great, and I want to see him at games in the future. I want to see him,
Yeah, the first game that they can sell out when you can have a full crowd, he should have his number retired and his name put up on the. I forget what they call it. For
right
the field.
next to that playoff, next to the playoff banner.
Well, no,
We almost beat the Chief banner. You mean?
Oh yeah. Well, no, they have like a ring. I cannot remember what they call it. Ring of Honor or something like that. Ring of Fame. But they have their names across.
Yeah, who is it? There's Barry Sanders, Chris Spielman, and then they put Barry again. And
I think
I think Barry Sanders is on there 5 different times.
I think Billy Sims is on there.
Billy Sims, yeah. Who God, man, who?
Lem Barney.
Yeah, Lem Barney.
I don't
Alex
remember
Karras,
seeing it.
not even just
the tight end, big tight end.
Doak Walker.
No, the tight end. You met him.
Eric Ebron.
Oh, God, no. Yes. Oh, God. Oh, you met him. He's all Hall of Fame. Charlie Sanders.
Charlie Sanders, yeah. The other Sanders, yeah. Like I was saying, Alex Karras, because he was the dad on Webster. The Curse of Bobby Lane.
They just put it up there, yeah. This is the explanation for anything that bad happens today.
Yeah.
The Curse of Bobby Lane.
It was only supposed to last for 50 years. Let it go, Bobby Lane. Let it go. Can we start winning now? Oh, man. I don't even know who... There's a few. There's definitely a few, but... But because of that, though, and because... there is not a lot of greatness when you think about the Lions organization, especially nationally. The big joke is the big joke is the Lions. They're just a joke in general. But the fact that our 2 greatest players in recent history didn't retired early, didn't win anything, and left without even wanting to be a part of the organization at all once they left.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's disgusting when you think about it. So it's nice that Barry has come back back into the situation, and it's nice to hear that they're trying to figure things out with Calvin so that he could be a part of the team going forward, just a part of the legacy or whatever you want to call it. Another Hall of Famer though, not a Lion, but probably the greatest Michigan Wolverine. Charles Woodson, first ballot Hall of Famer. Was there ever any doubt in that? And how much pride as a Michigan fan do you take in Mr. Woodson being a first ballot Hall of Famer? I personally take a lot because he is, I've said this 1,000, he is my favorite player of all time, any sport. Iserman is one 1A or 1B or however you want to say it, but between Heisman and Charles Woodson, those are my two favorite players growing up. And it is awesome to see Charles Woodson be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Is Charles Woodson the most accomplished athlete in Detroit sports history? When you consider everything that he did.
Well, it has to be Brady. Brady was still Michigan.
Yeah, but he didn't win the Heisman Trophy. He didn't win a national championship at Michigan.
Because he was a Heisman and a national champion at Michigan. I mean, well, you get Steve Eisman, Stevie Y. Probably, what, four cups? Captain of the team.
4 Stanley Cups, gold medals.
Yeah. I guess I'd have to take Eisman. If it was, but, I mean, Charles, if you say most accomplished, because he only played at, because he wasn't, it's not like he was from Michigan. He actually came, he grew up in Ohio, and came here to Michigan. And then after Michigan, only played for the Raiders and the Packers. Ugh, why did he have to
I guess, but when you think Charles, obviously we're biased, but I think nationally too, when people think of Charles Woodson, like Michigan is a connection there. When you think Tom Brady, Michigan is in and out. It takes a long time before you think about Michigan and you think about Tom Brady. Like you talk about a whole bunch of stuff before you even mention Michigan when you talk about
Michigan
Tom Brady.
fans.
Whereas Charles Woodson, it's one of the first things you mentioned.
Drew Henson, they didn't even care about Brady, at that time. It was
I'm just going to say there's a lot of people say, "Oh, there isn't any Michigan fans who wanted Brady over Henson." I'm like, hold up, back that truck up a little bit because I was all about Brady. I was all about Brady then.
The narrative, dude.
I was not a big Drew Henson fan. I was all about Tom Brady. I thought Tom Brady should have got his chance.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, but the majority of people were all about Henson, and Brady was just like an afterthought for a lot. Because you don't even really think about Brady being a Michigan quarterback, or because they didn't win huge. I mean, Brady had some moments for sure at Michigan, but not like Woodson though. So you're right on that level when it comes to. Is Woodson? Woodson has to be the most accomplished Michigan player, that's for sure. I think there's no way to beat that, right?
In the NFL, you mean, or just in
I'm just
pro
saying
sports?
at Michigan, like the University of Michigan football team, the greatest player is Charles Woodson. There couldn't be.
No, I think you're right on
else.
that. Yeah. I think you're right on that. When you think of Michigan, you do think of him more than Brady. But that's just because I think Brady's done so much in the NFL that you don't think about him as much at Michigan. Yeah. Plus, nationally too.
Woodson is very accomplished in the NFL.
No, he is. But Brady's the GOAT, obviously.
And
he's pretty close being a GOAT for his position.
Woodson stripped him. Everybody knows that the Tuck rule, and Woodson got that on Brady, and Woodson got screwed, man. The whole Raiders got screwed. The whole history of the NFL could have changed at that moment, Things could have really, really changed there. But Woodson, his legacy is going to live on forever, and I
guess I brought that up just because he got everything. He did everything you could do as a player. It's unbelievable.
He won the Heisman as a quarterback. Yeah. Granted, he had the punt returns and some plays on offense for sure, but...
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Doesn't happen very often. It's normally a quarterback, it seems like, or a running back. But
quarterback, wide receiver, running back.
Wide receiver,
I do think it's pretty cool for me because I'm a big Peyton Manning fan. He's probably my favorite player, non-Detroit related. And they were sitting side by side when they won the Heisman Trophy, and everybody thought Peyton Manning was going to win it, and Charles Woodson ended up winning it, but they were sitting side by side.
Yep.
And now, all these years later, they're going to the Hall of Fame, and they're both going to the Hall of Fame together, sitting side by side.
You see, though, it was funny, Dave, because you didn't remember the fourth person who was there, because it was Woodson, it was Peyton Manning, it was Randy Moss. And there was one other guy sitting there, man. There was 4 of them that were there, and you couldn't even remember because it was Ryan Leaf, man.
So crazy.
Think about it. You got Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning, Randy Moss, and Ryan Leaf, man. And 3 of those dudes are in the Hall of Fame.
3 of the great, not just Hall of Famers, but 3 of the greatest players ever.
And one guy got caught breaking into somebody's house to steal OxyContin.
It's unbelievable.
Well, there are, you're kind of seeing, like, when you see these, where are they now? Ryan Leaf has kind of turned his life around, and, he's doing a lot better. He's never going to the Hall of Fame, though. That's for sure, man. It is wild to think about how life can move like that, man.
They were neck and neck. It was totally up in the air. Who are you going to draft? Who are the Colts going to draft? Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning? There was scouts who thought Ryan Leaf was better. I mean, the consensus ended up obviously being Peyton Manning. They drafted Peyton Manning, but a lot of people thought maybe Ryan Leaf would end up having the better career. And man, it did not go that way.
So with Charles going to the Hall of Fame, what's your most what's the one play? Is there one play that stands out? I know for me, it's always that one-handed interception at Michigan State. It's one of the most incredible plays I've ever seen, and that one for me, that's what always stands out for me. That's my favorite play. And Dan, I bet for you it's going to be something from the Ohio State
the
game,
punt
right?
return for sure.
Yeah,
the fighting with David Boston and then getting the punt return.
Oh, that was so great, man. Because it's hard for me because I think that game especially was so hyped up and man, when they were kind of slap boxing each other, then Woodson rips his helmet off and he's just ready
That was
to go,
awesome.
man.
It was just the intensity in that game was just off the charts.
Yeah.
And then for him to get that punt return, just like Desmond Howard.
Yeah.
That's the moment.
And he made the interception towards the end of the game too.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
And then he had the rose in the mouth at the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
The whole, all those little moments within that game kind of all come together. But yeah, that's it for me. That's my biggest memory of Woodson.
Yeah, no doubt. So I mean, there you have it, man. We got 2 guys that are really influential to us growing up as football fans here in Michigan. Go to the Hall of Fame, so it's pretty cool, man. It's cool to see Calvin Johnson.
Hopefully, maybe we
can Charles Woodson.
We can go. And they actually, they do their speeches and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We
not
gotta
that
try to
far.
go to that one.
That'd be a fun
It's
trip.
not a bad idea. It's not that far.
Hey,
Well, it depends. I was saying we should. I mean,
we're
if
allowed,
we can, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. If we're allowed to go, or how difficult it's going to be to be.
That'd be one time. That'd be the time. To
I
go
think
because-
Ohio's been more open than us.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just saying, you never know. At this point, you never know how things are going to be.
Yeah, with
at
NFL
that point.
too.
That is, man. That is a cool trip to take, man. Going to the NFL Hall of Fame, man. That's a cool place to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be a lot of fun to go see.
Yeah,
that.
I think we need to plan it. Maybe we can do a podcast live there.
That'd
At least
be
do some.
awesome. Do a
At least do
live
some.
podcast.
At least do some
Like
videos or something.
Yeah,
that'd be
we
cool.
definitely got to. It's not that far of a trip, man. Canton, Ohio.
It's 4 hours.
That is something. Yeah, that should be something that's in the cards. We can pretty much wrap this up. Let's end with this halftime show, though. The Super Bowl halftime show. Were you guys fans of it? Were you fans of The Weeknd before the halftime show? Or did you guys know? Did you know his songs? Did you?
I like a couple of his songs.
How weird was it for you? Was it just weird?
He's weird in general, he's just a weird guy.
Yeah.
But I do like some of his songs. They are catchy. But he's just weird in general. I didn't pay too much attention to it. That's my beer and and stock up on food time.
Yeah.
So I kind of just watched it a little bit. But then having the people with the mask on, that's kind of weird too. He's kind of a jerk too. I've heard. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. Just to people in general, he didn't want anybody else to share the stage with him and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just weird. That's one word.
Yeah, so you're neither here nor there with it. You're not it's the worst halftime show of all time.
It could be better. It could be definitely better for
just
sure.
Kind of blah.
Yeah.
What did you think, Dave?
But like I said, I don't pay attention.
I mean,
did you care? Were you excited? Were you like, the Weeknd's doing the
well,
halftime
no, I
show?
didn't know a ton about them. I knew the song that they kept playing in the commercial. I kind of started to like. So I liked the song.
It's a catchy tune.
And then I didn't know what else they did. And then when they were performing. I'm like, oh yeah,
He's
I
one
know
guy.
that song.
You know that, right?
Is it just one guy?
Yeah.
There's no like band behind it?
No, The Weeknd is one dude.
Yeah, you would think it was like a band, The Weeknd.
Yeah.
But it shows you how much I knew about that. For him.
So did you even watch the halftime show? Because there wasn't a band behind it.
Well, I knew it was just the one guy.
I mean, he had the singers and all that, but yeah, The Weeknd is one dude. It's not a band or nothing like that.
Oh, whatever.
So yeah, okay, I get that.
So
Dan,
Dan
that answers that question. So you weren't super great. Oh my god, I can't wait for the band The Weeknd to do his halftime show.
Obviously not. No.
No, for me, like I was kind of because I think the dude's cool, man. He's got some really good songs. I was kind of excited to see because he is a weird dude, and this whole thing that he's been doing,
Obviously, if you call yourself The Weeknd.
Yeah. He's got some good songs, and I know he's an artist, man. Like he's not just one of these like YouTube singers that just go just blah blah blah, same old random stuff. Like he's like a guy who like cares about his art, in his music, and this whole thing is like with the face bandages. If you had paid attention. It's like this whole like performance, this ongoing performance, like a art, like an ongoing type of art performance that led up to the Super Bowl with but it just didn't come across, man, because not enough people really. Well, every song he sang, like he rattled off like 10 number one hits. All those songs he did were like number one hits. But you just don't really know. Like,
do all like the mixes and everything? Does he handle everything, or does he just sing?
I don't know
and
all
do
about.
I assume
that.
he writes his lyrics.
I'm sure he's probably got a team around him. I'm sure. I was
wondering, because like Trent Reznor with Nine Inch Nails, he pretty much writes all of it and does all of it.
I'm sure he's got a team around him, but it's his music, it's his ideas that are coming across, and he's good, man. The guy can sing, he can, but the performance itself was just not enough. He wasn't. How do I say this? The Weeknd wasn't he's not a big enough performer right now to do a storyline and have it come across as a Super Bowl halftime show. Like he had a grandiose idea to make this whole thing work. It just wasn't known enough and for the mainstream Super Bowl audience. Because for one, anybody like 40 and over probably knew some of the songs that he sang, but didn't even know like you said, like The Weeknd. Like you don't even know that that's like one dude, like not a whole band, And like you say, you see these commercials, and some of these like hooks are catchy, and you definitely heard these songs before, but you didn't even place it together. Like, oh, I know that song. I didn't know it was The Weeknd. That probably happened 3 or 4 times on some of the songs that he did to people that just aren't in tune to his music. So I think what he tried to do was respect-worthy. It just didn't come across to a mainstream audience enough. So that's why you had so many people be like, what is going on here? Why are people wearing jock straps on their face? Like, well, I don't understand. And then when the blurry thing, when he was in he walked off the stage into like that gold room and everything started spinning, people just were like, what the hell is this, man? And it's all...
I think when it's somebody like that not a lot of people know of, it's got to be about the musical performance, and you got to blow them away. Yeah. I think, in my opinion, because people, and especially if you're going to try to do something different like he was trying to do, I get it, but like you said, he's not in that type of position to do something like that, where people already know his music, know his style, know everything about him. If you're in that situation, like if Taylor Swift went out and did something like that, everybody knows Taylor Swift, everybody knows her style, everybody knows her songs. Yeah. If she went out and did something like that, it might resonate a little bit more because people already understand, kind of what her situation is. But for this guy, not a lot of people know him. Yeah. Or like the average person doesn't know him.
Multi-platinum selling artist, one of the top artists today. But that's the thing with music these days, where it's so divided, man. Like, and there's so many different ways to get your music now, where it's not just like where people are just listening to the radio and like whoever's on the radio right now is what's going on, because a lot of, especially the younger kids, and I'm saying like there's 40 and under and 40 and over. I think you can kind of like put this gap here where 40 and over, they're stuck in their ways, man. Like people are still listening to, you know, like their music, and it's not changing. You know, they're not like getting new artists that like, oh my God, I'm listening to Tupac and I'm listening to Pearl Jam and man, did you hear that new song from DaBaby? like it's not like you're not having that conversation, you know. And I think the younger kids are like, man, I'm listening to DaBaby, but I really love that Pearl Jam song, you know. Like a lot of the kids, if you're not like, if you were born in 2000, you probably can't name a Pearl Jam song. And that's why it's going to be tough for the NFL going forward to find a way to keep doing these halftime shows that can gravitate to the masses.
Yeah, well, that's
why it's not for you. The weekend is not for you guys. It's for the audience that doesn't watch the football game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they already have you guys. They already know you guys are going to watch the game. So they don't need to draw you guys in. They need to get somebody on a different spectrum or different genre or whatever. I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for, but something completely different to get those people to come in to watch the football game. So that's why it is always a weird artist like that, where it's like Madonna, Janet Jackson, and whoever else.
I don't know though.
Yeah, I feel that they know,
because I think what they want, I would think they want to do is just entertain people during the halftime. I mean, I get where Joe's coming from. Like, you're trying to get, like, I think of like our niece Haley. Like, she's not a football fan, but she might come in and sit down and watch the halftime show because it's the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of Joe's point. I get that point of it, but I think they're kind of looking for somebody that's, everybody's going to, at the end of the day, be like, yeah, that was a really good show.
Well, look at,
because there's a lot of negative stuff coming, and I didn't think it was a bad show. I didn't really know this guy. I just, like you said, you know, the songs were playing. Oh yeah, I know that song. Oh, I've heard that song. But I wasn't like, oh, this is terrible, or oh, this is amazing. It was just kind of like, it's a halftime show, whatever. Yeah. You know. But I think down the road, like I think they want to get something that everybody universally kind of can enjoy.
Well, and that's what because there's two examples that really fit, and it's widely considered that these are the two greatest halftime shows of all time, and it was Bruno Mars and Prince. Okay, Bruno Mars was an up and coming real star when he did his halftime show, and it was incredibly entertaining, and it was really, really good. But he was newer. He was, you know, and like not all the older people really knew who he was, but they had heard his songs. But when he took that stage and just crushed it the way he did.
But he crushed it musically.
Yeah.
And that was my point.
It was a whole show, too, though.
It was.
Singing, the dancing,
there was other stuff, but it was him.
Oh, man. He was
showing his talent.
You were watching a superstar, and you were entertained, all right? And a lot of people were, like, went out and got his music after that show. Like he was... And then you have it was a few years prior when Prince... Okay, everybody knows who Prince is. Prince has a million hits. And he went out there and did a hell of a Super Bowl halftime show. And that's so it can be done on both levels, where you can have it like a new up-and-coming younger artist just crush a halftime show, and you can have an older, more sustained artist crush a halftime show.
So who would you pick? We'll finish this off.
Yeah,
who were some artists that you would see?
Jack White. I want Jack White to do a halftime show, because he's so diverse, and he's got so many hits. And could you just imagine the Super Bowl halftime crowd live?
Seven Nation Army.
75,000 screaming fans at halftime, because that's the greatest sports anthem. When there's a minute left in the game and it's tied and just
any time during the game.
Well, yeah, any moment of the game, but especially at that moment where it's a TV timeout. You know, there's 30 seconds left in the game, and the whole crowd, the energy's so huge, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. There's nothing like it. Jack White would be my ultimate, and he did the Grammy. He crushed the Grammys. You know, it'd be Jack White. He'd be my ultimate one. I could name a bunch of them, but Jack White is the one I think should.
Yeah, Jack White. I think it's top of the list. Top of the list for me right now, it would be Chris Stapleton. I think he would just be incredible. I think he crosses a lot of different genres. I think younger people like him. I think older people like him. I think he'd be great and be universally looked at as like, oh, that's a great halftime show, because he would put on a great performance, I think.
I got to go with Kid Rock.
Oh, God.
Detroit,
God.
Kid Rock, American Badass.
Really alienate half the country.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my God! Does he bring out Donald Trump?
Yes, and he goes on this.
He wears all his mega hats, and there's mega posters fall from the.
Love or hate Kid Rock, he is a hell of a performer.
He puts on a performance, and that's what That's what
he's proud of where he comes from. You got to give him that, but man, there's just a lot to not like about him.
10 years ago, Kid Rock did a perfect halftime show.
No,
man.
I know.
Even 5 years ago.
I just think he put on a great show.
Pre-Trump, anytime pre-Trump, Kid Rock would be a great halftime show, man. I think. I don't think that's happening anytime soon, though, man.
Maybe post-Trump. Maybe.
Yeah. Wow, man. I think that train left the station 4
No,
years
either him
ago,
or
man.
Eminem. I got to go with the Detroit.
Eminem would do.
I think Eminem would be
good
great.
too. That might be a good one.
Those are my two people. I didn't think about the political stuff because you know me, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But it's more of just the show, the artists. They're people that, like you said, can touch different genres, different people. Everybody likes their music, so I'm more about the music than the political stuff. I don't care about all that. So either of those two.
Yeah, Eminem is that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Jack White's a good one too. And, yeah.
Why?
Or you can maybe listen, NFL.
Yeah.
Stop upsetting everybody.
Yeah. Oh man. This has been fun, man. This is a good show. We're gonna come back next week. What the hell are we gonna talk about though, man? So the draft, right?
I got a good topic
draft?
we're talking about. We got a good topic for you next week. We're not gonna let it out now. We got a good Just listen. Make sure I'm telling you. We got a good topic.
Tune in next week. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, football season is over. I'm shedding a tear right now because
they did it though.
They did. They put a hole. The NFL. You gotta give them their kudos, man. The NFL, they figured it out and they did it, man. And we knew it though. We could come hell or high water, man. The NFL was gonna play, man.
They got dicey at times though.
Yeah,
it did.
Especially with Pittsburgh, man. Yeah. Like I know the Steelers, they got the short end of the COVID stick this year, man, when it comes to just scheduling games and whatnot. And
we saw some Tuesday games. We saw some Wednesday games.
Oh, my God. I know. How fun was that, man? Like,
it was wild.
Did we really... Wednesday at 5:30? Count me in, man. I ain't got nothing to do, man. Let's watch some football. Like... The NFL is really... I think that show, man, the NFL really is king, dude.
It'll be interesting to see if they... go with that.
They can't. The scheduling is just it's
next
not
TV
that it's
schedule.
Football's
Next,
too much,
next
but
time
just
there's
for
a
the
TV
players
schedule.
though, it's too much. You can't play on Wednesday and then like what?
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
They play on Thursday.
Yeah, but it literally was when we watched that Wednesday at 5:30 game. It was like this is awesome, But
maybe not Wednesday, but like Tuesday night. I could see a Tuesday night football game.
That's the max time, man. It's max time. You're
Yeah,
not going to watch the Northern Illinois versus Western Michigan game? Dude,
there's a lot of money on the table. We could get another TV deal out there for a Tuesday night football game. But, I know we're the NFL, but we can't cut into the MAC. Yeah, I don't see that conversation happening.
I know. But
if there's money to be made, and there is money to be made with another TV contract, having a Tuesday night football game.
It is true, man. It's never too much football, man. I think that's widely known, man. Like, give me football every day.
Fantasy football and betting, they could go on every night of the week.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, man. They just ask for, and people just ask for more. And that's what we'll get next year, man. But for now, it's about the draft, man. Free agency and draft time. That's what we got. Oh, and then other sport like basketball and football.
The Pistons and Red Wings. They
I know.
tried
The non-football minute here. We're gonna pretend we're gonna talk about this stuff next week. This is the part of the show where we say, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap it up. This is the Detroit Sports Sit Down. Peace.